among them, they are parliamentary candidates, they are mayors, and all positions in this country.
Honorable Elias Tibuhaburwa, the Lord Mayor of Kampala, and leader of PFF, and the whole leadership of PFF here present. Honorable Salaso, the National Coordinator of Gov't, and the whole leadership of FNT, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It's our pleasure to be here today. The date is 2nd of July 2025. First, let me take this opportunity to congratulate the team on both sides. One, for the discipline. Meetings have been going on for a significant number of months, more than 3 months, possibly 4 or 5 months. To congratulate the teams because of the maturity exhibited. It is rare for something of this nature to be done over such a period of time, and it does not leak. It's very rare at this time. Discreetness and discipline are part of statecraft. So it looks like we are well prepared for managing state affairs. This is not just in response to the demands of the population. Over and above that is that we are compelled by logic. We are compelled by desire to salvage our country. We are compelled by the desire to ensure that we counter the narrative that Gen. Museveni has systematically planned and executed in this country to a point that literally people follow what he says as if it is the truth. Gen. Museveni never says anything carelessly. Everything is always planned for a purpose and as part of the psychological warfare campaign that he has waged consistently to a point where our population has literally been broken down, including at times leaders. This initiative is part of that desire to ensure that his psychological campaign is wiped out. What Gen. Museveni knows best is that when you compromise the shepherd, the sheep scatter. He knows that. He knows what is on the ground. You heard what Honorable Semju was reading, the statistics, which are frightening. The reality of our situation now, when we're only 45 million people. Some of the young people who are here, by the time they hit their 50s, we are going to be close to 100 million people. But yet you get a sense within the population that nothing can be done. Even when they hear that Gen. Museveni has been nominated for the party and for the presidency of the country on the ticket of NRM, people think that it's a fait accompli, that it is finished. It is not finished. Because of the psychological warfare he wages, he has reached a point where some of the people ordinarily who should give leadership reach a conclusion that, you know what, if you can't beat them, join them. That's what is his purpose. No, I'm not going to mention that. People will make their own interpretation. It's a general statement of fact. It's been systematic, it has been relentless. And unfortunately, some leaders are falling for that. Therefore, logic compels us. Those of us who've been on these fronts for quite a long time, that we must organize ourselves to ensure that the state of hopelessness, the state of frustration in this country, in the population, is reversed. What terrifies Gen. Museveni the most is a people who are disenchanted, but who are well organized and well led. That's why it targets leaders at a psychological warfare level. Today is just simply symbolizing that much as he has worked this campaign relentlessly, consistently, that there are still men and women who are still standing firm and they are resolved to continue executing this struggle until its logical conclusion. So we thank all the colleagues, PFF and in ANT for this day. Two, we are not only focused about taking power, we are focused on changing the political culture in this country. And a day like this really captures that, in the sense that those who are out need to understand that in politics you can have disagreements, but you don't have to be hostile against each other. Again, a culture which has been consciously, deliberately planted in our society. That when people disagree, even when they separate, that they should necessarily act as if they are enemies, done by Gen. Museveni and NRM regime. We are defying that, and this clearly shows that. Because had we been hostile to each other, there's absolutely no way we would have met. All this period of time, and those who've been in these meetings possibly would be talking to different individuals, in an atmosphere of, a free atmosphere, being honest with each other, and reaching the conclusions we have reached, because we have found common ground as the first step to what is going to continuously keep building until its logical conclusion. Because of time, going into this election, in the base of which we have built a common platform, what drives us on both sides is a common desire to see that we can have sanity in this country, so that even the generations that do come find that those of us now who are active in politics will have built a foundation for that to happen. So we would like to appeal to those who aspire for leadership, who at times, when they look around, the signs almost indicate that there's nothing one can do, and reach the conclusion which Gen. Museveni desires them to reach, that if you can't beat them, join them. Don't join them. Because when you aspire to be a leader, you become a shepherd. Credible shepherds fight for the flock. At least traditional, and all come from tradition, where men who would be shepherds would get a spear and a shield, whatever weapon they have, so that when the flock is being attacked, they'll be on the front defending the flock. At a strategic level, the situation is in favor of change. No doubt about that. When Gen. Museveni was saying that by 2021 all political parties will be finished, he forgot that even if all political parties got finished, that does not change the desire of the population for change. Because even where leaders abdicate their responsibility and join the gravy train, people remain steadfast, moving towards the objective of being a free people. Three, I have seen Gen. Museveni a number of times when he's fighting against foreign interests, talk about the issue of dignity. Many times he talks about it. When he's confronting those who come this part of the world for exploitation of resources, indicating that he understands what dignity means. Dignity does not only play between the fight between the foreigners and Ugandans. Dignity also applies at the domestic level. Much as he wants dignity for the African people, we, the Ugandan people, also want dignity. So cooperation of this nature, while we're looking at all other issues of material things for the population, education, health, infrastructure, jobs, wealth. We are looking at the foundation of all that, the re-establishment of the dignity of our people. So leaders in the opposition, as well as those who are in the movement, need to understand that strong nations are built by strong people. So it's incumbent upon leaders to build people, even where they have weakness. What Gen. Museveni does is that he breaks the strength of those who are strong and manipulates those who are weak, simply for purpose of control, in the process, weakening the people, and therefore also weakening the country. Because if you break down people to a point where they allow themselves to be compromised by 1,000 shillings, 2,000 shillings, that's the most painful thing that you can do to a people. Because it means you have broken down their sense of self-worth to that level. Leaders across the board, whether in the opposition, whether in NRM, the dignity of our people must be utmost when we aspire for leadership. Because when we abdicate our responsibility as leaders, and the sheep scatter, then they become vulnerable. Further, because they're in a state of hopelessness, literally. This is likely to be the first of perhaps a 2 or 3 step process. the leadership in PFF has been in touch with the leadership of NUP. And NUP has also been in contact with the PFF. PFF and, ANT and NUP have also been in contact. This simply happened today because it has matured. So we are in touch jointly now with the brothers in NUP to work on the maturation of what could become the second step. All sides looking for a common ground. Well, there are times when you may not necessarily agree 100%. But if you have 5 issues and you agree on 4, it's absolutely no problem. Or 3. We have to counter Gen. Museveni's narrative that he has caused to develop in the minds of our people, that you know what, this is just a walkover. That you know what, if you can't beat them, join the brevet train. The country needs to know that the dedication of the leaders in the parties, 2, 3, recognize that. And therefore, that it is incumbent upon us, if for nothing else, but ensure that we will sustain hope where there is hopelessness and establish confidence in our people. Because that's the only thing that is lacking as we speak. The elite need to wake up. Because they've been pushed to a point where, in their estimation, nothing can be done. So they think that, okay, let's just simply play safe. And that's why you find, I don't know your own experiences, but my own experience, I bump into so many people who are running on the NRM ticket. The number of constituencies where you find 3, 4, 5, 10, in some cases 15 people running on the same position. And I interact with many. I ask them. I know a constituency where about 12 people. And I have been in touch with a significant number of them, possibly close to 8 or so. So I asked them, I said, but do you believe in the NRM? Say no. So I asked them, if you don't believe in NRM, so why are you standing on this ticket? So that's the only way. That's right. That's right. Because victory starts and ends in the mind. Wherever you are, whether it's in business, whether it is in the combat field, whether it is in politics. You first win in your mind. You see a situation. It may seem bleak, it may seem dark, but you are determined to engage until the logical conclusion of victory. Then, when you do that, you become victorious at the end of it all. But if you look at the situation and think, you know what? You are done. You are done. Therefore, when we combine effort and we sustain hope and we establish confidence, a tsunami of resistance will grow, because you cannot conquer a people unless they participate in their own defeat. You can't. So we thank you, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, for today. It's gratifying, it's encouraging that we build a foundation. Those of us who will be getting out of politics down the road leave a foundation on the basis of which this country, with a very fast-growing population, that our children, our grandchildren can live in an atmosphere where they have dignity. Some people don't seem to understand what that means. But it's at the core of our existence as people. Irregardless of material things, we do get material things, yes. That's why all of us engage in businesses and send our children to, for education, so they can pay jobs, they can get paid, and then they get that for their families. Yes, but at the core of that, a core of existence, is the nation of dignity. And we cannot let Gen. Museveni break that in our people. We have to fight day and night. Because the people without dignity are in a state of slavery, clearly. And nobody can ever make you a slave unless you participate in your own enslavement. And that starts at the mind level. Because authoritarian regimes, they can get you, they can throw you in prison, they can beat you up, they could even kill you. But that's the body. But when the mind is resilient, and even at the point of death, you are still standing in your mind, even if the body is on the ground, that's what terrifies authoritarian regimes. And that's why when leaders abdicate their responsibility, those who break down and say the only way we can go through is to join the Overthrow. That's frightening. And we have to resist that. Today is part of that. Thank you, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Gov't wa Mayor, Honorable Omukulembeze wa PFF, abakulembeze bonna abali bano aba PFF, Honorable Alice Alaso, National Coordinator wa Alliance for National Transformation, n'abakulembeze bonna abali bano aba ANT. Tusiima Katonda okutusobozesa okutuuka ku lunaku olwaleero, era njagala kwebaza abakulembeze ku njuyi zombi okulaba nti kolagana eno ebaddewo evuddemu kino ekyolwaleero ekyokuteeka emikono ku memorandum of understanding kitutte ebbanga. Naye okulaba nti tuusa olwaleero nga tekinavaayo si kintu kya bulijjo mu ggwanga lyaffe. Naye kiraga nti sides zombi, kubanga abantu abadde bakimanyi, si babiri, basatu, bana, bantu bangi ku sides zombi basobola okuba batuuka no mu bantu 3-4 ku sides zombi. Naye nga tekikoze eki, tekivuddeeyo ne kigenda mu lwatu okutuusa olwaleero. Kiraga nti mu bibiina byombi mulimu abakulembeze ab'oku ntikko ab'obuvunaanyizibwa. Era kiraga nti abakulembeze abalina obuvunaanyizibwa obw'ekika ekyo ate disipulini ey'ekika ekyo n'engeri amawanga gye gatambuzibwamu bulijjo mu ngeri ennungamu kyetaagisa abakulembeze abalina disipulini ey'ekika ekyo. N'olwekyo njagala kwebaza abakulembeze ku njuyi zombi. Ekyokubiri, eno esobola okuba siteepu esoose egenda kuyingira mu siteepu ey'okubiri. Kubanga ekisooka ffenna ku sides zombi tumanyi nti ekibiina kya National Unity Platform kyekibiina ekiri simanyi mu Luganda bakiyita batya, the main opposition party. Yes. Chekibiina kisingayo members of parliament balina members 57 tubalaba nga main opposition party. Enjuyi zombi fe aba NT ne PFF babadde boogera nabo fena nga twogera nabo era nakati tuli mu being in touch empulizaganya n'ekiro olwaleero bakimanyi kubanga tubawadde brief. Ekitusanyusa ffe abasinkanye olwaleero ne tuteeka emikono ku ndagaano eno gye tutaddeko emikono ku ludda lwabwe ne ku ludda olwaffe tukkirizaganya okulaba engeri gye tusobola okuteekako enkolagana esobola okutuyisa mu feezi eno gye tulimu. Era feezi eno eyo ey'okubiri bw'ebanga ewedde bulungi awo nga tusobola okuyingira mu feezi endala esembayo okulaba abantu abalala n'ebibiina ebirala bye tusobola okukolagana nabyo mpola mpola okulaba nti tuzimba ekintu ekizza essuubi mu bantu. Abantu bakyagala naye si kyekikulu ekituledde okutuuka ku nkola eno. Ekiri ku ntikko y'ekyo eky'abantu okwagala twegatte kyakulaba nti tuzaamu essuubi mu ggwanga. Ekyokubiri okulaba nti abo abali mu bifo by'obukulembeze tebamenyeka, they don't break down, tebagwamu maanyi, kubanga olunaku lwonna Katonda bw'aba ayagadde n'ofuuka omukulembeze ku kifo kyonna ky'obeeramu obeera shepherd, omuliisa w'endiga, omusumba omusumba w'endiga. Bw'oba oli omusumba omulungi engo oba entale ng'erumbye endiga, ky'oteekwa okukola kwe kulwana okulaba nti engo oba entale tekola ki? Terya ndiga. Naye gwe bw'oba oli ku ntikko abantu bakuteddemu obwesige n'olaba embeera ng'eba efuuse engumu, n'olaba enzikiza ku ludda luno n'olaba enzikiza ku ludda luli, ne weefaako wekka n'ovaawo wooli nti ogenda kugula train endiga ozireseewa. N'olwekyo kitusanyusa nnyo okulaba nti olwaleero abo abasumba b'endiga ababa nga beewaddeyo okulaba nti endiga tekubaako kyonna ekizituusaako ebisago, kulaba ntutandise olutambula luno. Katonda ng'ayagadde wajja kuvaamu ebibala ebiwooma ku lw'okuba n'abakulembeze abatakulembeza emotions. Ekitegeeza nti ekitutambuza si emotions oba feelings, ekitusikiriza ng'ekyolwaleero kye tukoze okulaba nti tutunula ku ggwanga, tutunula ku bantu, ate n'okulaba nti abantu tebagwamu ssuubi, kubanga we tuli weeraliikiriza. Gen. Museveni kyakoze okumala ebbanga, waliko abazungu kye bayita psychological warfare, kubanga mu magye eyo waliko ebintu by'okola okulaba nti otiisa omulabe, ogenda okumutuukako ku front ng'awedde, omaze okumuwangula ne bw'aba nga alina emmundu nga takyalina ki confidence ey'okulwana ne bw'aba alina emmundu, kubanga ekirwana si mmundu, ekirwana is the human spirit. Akikoze systematically, kyekireetera abasumba okuleka endiga ziri mu ttale naga oba engwe zirya nze kansooke nkole ki nti wano wafiira muloge n'asooka ne yeesegula n'agenda gy'aba agenze yonna naye ng'endiga zisigaddewa mu ttale nga kye twagala okukola kwe kuzzaamu essuubi abantu n'oluusi abo ababadde nga balinamu waasiwaasi ng'omutima gwagala okulaba nti ensi ekyukakyuka n'egenda mu kkuba eddungi eddungamu naye nga balaba enzikiza wonna kati ekintu nga kino n'ebinaddako byakuzzaamu essuubi ku abo abaaluubirira obukulembeze nti temuleka endiga mu ttale bw'obanga omanyi ekyo tokisobole sigala eka kola ebintu ebirala kola bizinesi kola ebirala politics siri ekkubo lyokka ku nsi kuno ery'okufunamu ssente kubanga mu politics bw'otunula mu ggwanga lyonna fe abali mu politics bw'ogatta cabinet n'ogatta MPs n'ogatta LC5s LC3s tetutuuka na miliyoni emu tuye abantu nga 40 emitwalo 40 naye labayo abantu abakulu adults 18 million tebali mu politics tebaliwo n'olwekyo tusaba mu bitundu abasumba we baleka endiga mu ttale abantu kye bakola basaanidde okukola ng'emmundu abazungu ze bayita automatic weapons emmundu ezedda bw'okuba essasi okuzza essasi eryokubiri oteekwa okusooka n'ojjamu kiri ekisokonkole n'oyingiza essasi eddala n'olyoka n'okola ki n'olinga n'okuba ezo zedda automatic weapons nga AK-47 kye baziyitira automatic weapon essasi bwe lifuluma ekisokonkole nga kivaamu essasi eryokubiri ne liyingira automatically awali abantu be bateekamu obwesige babeere abasumba omusumba bw'ava mu kkubo automatically omuntu omurango amukola ki amudda mu bigere n'abeera omusumba enki endiga neziva ku ttale neziyingira mu kifo ekiri mu ki ekiri secure. Where leaders abandon people, there should be an automatic process of replacement. Abantu abanauganda abatayingirangako mu politics n'abavubuka temutya kubanga naffe ffenna bwe mulaba amanya agawulikika mu ggwanga si bwe kyali amanya gaffe gategerekeka nga tumaze okuyingira mu bifo n'olwekyo tobeereeyo n'ogamba ani amanyi ingira mu kifo beera LC5 beera LC3 beera member wa parliament oli bw'aba amaze okuleka endiga mu ttale yingira ojja kutegerekeka kuleka ekifo nekibeeraawo abantu abagenda ku grave train endiga nezisigala ku ttale nga ziri vulnerable kyonna ekiba nga kizze oba ntale oba what do they call hyena oba empisi kubanga kyekyo kyenyini ekibaawo olwekyo tusaanisa olwaleero akakiiko mukawulidde ak'okuntikko engeri gye tubaddemu ku national mu kuteesa bino ebintu nga tekuli friction nga tekuli suspicions nga tekuli ki. We hope that's going to be the spirit down to the lowest level. N'abo bannaffe betukyali mu nkolagana nabo okulaba nti step eyo nayo etuukirizibwa kubanga ku nsi kuno ng'amaliriza temuteekwa okkirizaganya ku bintu 10 ku buli 10 bwekubanga kuliko ebintu 5 ne mukkirizagana ku 4 ekimu nga temukkirizaganyizaako ekyo nga mukiteeka ku bbali nga mukolagana ku ki ku ebyo 4 yengeri gye tubeera wamu ku ludda lwaffe. Mwebala nnyo Mwewalida Katonda.
Comrade Gen.Mugisha Muntu and the entire leadership of ANTI, my colleagues from the Katonga War Command Center, members of the press, all Ugandans, I salute you all. It's a great moment for us as vanguards of the struggle to assemble here at Katonga this morning at this momentous occasion to witness a great milestone in the journey to the promised land. In my religion we say Alhamdulillah. And for the Christians, Ebenezer. We say Ebenezer. Indeed, the Lord has been great, has been good to us all. Surviving during these turbulent times is something we owe to divine intervention. And we need to celebrate it. That we have lived, that we have been lucky, we have lived to see this historic moment in the journey to where we want to go. I'd like to salute the colleagues in ANTI for the goodwill they have exuded, for all the commitment they have shown and demonstrated to this call. Indeed, it is a response, one, to the public outcry that we need to galvanize our efforts. We need to move in a single fire. We need to bring all the troops together and fire in the same direction. I am glad that today, this morning, we are responding to that call from the public. So, rather, it's also a response to the dictates of the Constitution. You will agree with me. Our constitutional document is now a horror. It has so many illusory provisions which would only operate in an ideal situation. We have a constitution, I need not mention this, which has since been abrogated. So we operate in an environment where we have a constitution, but no constitutional order. That is a paradox. So the Constitution commands in Article 3, and that's what the framers envisaged. Once you find yourself in that kind of situation, it's a duty of everybody. It's a command to everybody. It's a responsibility of all of us, the able-bodied Ugandans who are above, who are of majority age, to do whatever within our means to deal with that situation. And in a concerted manner, a concerted and joint network. So I'm glad we're responding to that constitutional command. It's not only imposed on us who are assembled here, but all Ugandans of majority age. It's a call that is being made to us. Allow me also salute our patriarch at PFF, retired Colonel Dr. Besigye, in championing all these efforts. Today's event is partly a culmination of all these unflinching efforts he has put in this process. Right from the time he took a decision to take on General Gov't Museveni and his entire lieutenants over 2 decades ago, having wavered off the constitutional path and the mission that took them to the bush. So, after realizing General Museveni had veered off the path, the tangent, the course, the trajectory and the course he decided to take, he has never recoiled. And his call has always been, please, let's all of us come together under one umbrella, under one formation, not formation as such, but framework to advance this cause. Before he even was arrested, he superintended over a number of engagements in different places. And at the time he was arrested or kidnapped from Nairobi and incarcerated in Irozira, he was pursuing this process. I'm glad that today it is coming to fruition, albeit in his absence because of what is happening to him. But the struggle continues. Needed, we have had several engagements, back-to-back meetings, back and forth engagements, and finally came up with this document where we have appended our signatures. It's not only with the anti, but other formations, other parties. We have had engagements. It's only that, given the common heritage the Honorable Semujju has alluded to here, it was much easier for us to first coalesce with our colleagues at ANTI, because the blood bond is very fast. And here we are. We are quite hopeful and optimistic that the journey will continue, because the discussions are still ongoing with other colleagues in the struggle of different formations. Hopefully, they will also materialize, and then we shall be able to inform the nation, the public, about those developments. We believe more than ever before that the aspirations of all Ugandans can only be achieved if we have a common vehicle. It would be self-delusion for one to ever imagine that we can dislodge the military junta in our cocoons. It would be delusional and foolhardy. I want to emphasize this. If any of us got obsessed with that thinking, that you can dismantle this family rule and Museveni hegemony without building these networks that we have unveiled today. The instrument we have signed this morning, the MOU, is the first concrete step towards a complete reunion of the two formations or entities, and perhaps other like-minded forces which we are still talking to. We have agreed to work on two fronts. One, to continue with the non-violent defiance struggle, to dismantle the Museveni hegemony and take power back to the people. You know, the foundation and cornerstone of our constitution is the will of the people. Unfortunately, the will of the people, as you all know, has since been hijacked by family rule. And this family rule is getting entrenched by the day. Therefore, the need for us to step up the measures we have to undertake to bring it down. So we will continue with the civic action at all levels to ensure that the family rule is once and for all is dismantled, and that the people of Uganda regain their sovereign authority as envisioned in the preamble and other provisions of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. The second front is about the electoral processes, because we have the 2026 campaigns around, elections around the corner. And it's our understanding that this joint platform we have assembled, we have established, will offer us the gravitas that we need to take on the forces, the vicious forces that captured the state, together with all the institutions of the state. We are alive to the fact that elections by and in themselves cannot demolish or dismantle Yoweri Kaguta Museveni's hegemony without the people of Uganda asserting their will. Because this has happened before. Museveni has been defeated several times in elections, but the victory robbed. This is what has been happening on all occasions. So in addition to getting into the electoral processes or participating in this election, extra efforts need to be undertaken, and this is what we are working on, to guarantee the will of the people and ensure that it prevails and that victory is not robbed from us. We firmly believe that the struggle during elections is about creating the necessary critical mass for Ugandans to be able to regain control of the state. And we are going to vigorously pursue this as a team. And we are again alive to that fact that there are many vicious forces that would tend to distract us. So it's not lost on us that the regime is also on its radar to keep monitoring whatever we are doing. Our assurance to you is that we have paid attention to detail in establishing this platform and also executing this MOU and other guiding instruments. We have been extra cautious to ensure that we deal with those weak links, those fissures within our formations and the entire opposition. We know Mr. Museveni has dichotomized the opposition along the divide of good opposition and bad opposition. If you are genuine and determined to dislodge the family rule from power, you are bad opposition. If you are indulging in what normally the 50 columnists do, massaging and caressing the dictator, then you are good opposition. We know those forces are going to be, they will militate against us using those 50 colonists, a good opposition, but we are equally determined to deal with the same. Violence is the order of the day. We know this. Violence is what Mr. Museveni has mastered to control power. It has now reached a point where it does not use the conventional military apparatus or security organs, but also militias, the goons. So as we assemble this morning and execute this MOU and prepare to take on the junta, bear in mind that we are going to face off with the militias, with the goons. You know, when you are dealing with a criminal state, everything is possible. So what we are dealing with today is a criminal state. These marauding criminals you saw on the streets, we want to emphasize they are well trained, they are facilitated, and they are unleashed by the state to the citizenry. For us, we believe in a non-violent struggle. No amount of provocation is going to drag us into violence. But make no mistake to assume that we are going to turn the other cheek. No. Get prepared to take the bull by the horns. We want to send a strong message to General Gov't Museveni that the troops we are assembling are ready to take on the forces they are bringing. And as much as we do not want bloodshed again in this country, but we are determined to push back under all circumstances. As we signed this MOU this morning, both of us, PFF and ANTI, as a team, are also at the same time increasing our speed in achieving a similar understanding with other political parties and groups with a similar orientation like us. We believe we realize something more in good time for the forthcoming general elections. And we are counting on the goodwill and the conscience of our partners and colleagues in this. We are aware that we are going into elections without any reforms because the regime does not want meaningful electoral reforms. It cannot be gainsaid that as we talk today, one cannot expect Parliament to pass reforms in as much as people are enthusiastic about them. There are some forces, some colleagues who are enthusiastic about electoral reforms. But if we are in July and the nominations are in September, and some of the reforms may require even a referendum, because the meaningful reforms you would want would definitely have to touch on what they call some of the entrenched provisions in the Constitution. Unfortunately, there's no time for those reforms. We are alive to that fact. So we are going into this as is. Let us not be duped by the Mao reforms, where he's talking about use of biometrics or biometric machines. And you've heard General Gov't Museveni has been so hyper about use of biometric machines to the extent that he has decreed no one will be permitted to cast their vote unless they are verified by those biometric machines. But you also know their maneuvers and manipulations. Definitely they will have to have those machines manipulated to their benefit, and they want to use it as a ploy to disenfranchise many Ugandans, especially in our strongholds. People queuing up in lining up in longer queues, and then they claim the machines are not operational. And it is surprising up to now, even those who are supposed to man them have not been properly trained up to now, up to the present moment. So You are talking about digitizing or digitalizing elections, but no meaningful step is being taken to achieve that. So we should roundly reject the bogus amendments being touted by Honorable Norbert Mao as the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs. We shouldn't be in any way duped. Finally, Museveni has already started orchestrating violence, and you should keep your antennas high. The bomb scare, the security alerts, you have been treated to of recent. How well choreographed. On Matters Day, you said there was a bomb blast recently at Karere just the other week, last week. Everybody was meant to scamper for their dear lives with that scare. And Museveni's machinations are not about to end. As he's aging, he would like to have it on a silver platter. So most probably, he will recreate all those kinds of situations to scare the masses and also send the country into a panic mode about security issues. We will not be surprised if he issues a security alert. They call it class what? Class 1. Stand by. And then a state of emergency most probably will have to be declared to ensure that there is no free and fair competition. Because what he fears is public assemblies. He fears so much. So as you deal with the paranoid regime, be alive to that fact that Museveni will stop at nothing in orchestrating those kind of antics to scare us. The lasting solution to impunity is an awakened and organized population. This is why we need defiance civil actions by the people themselves, including vote and election victory protectors. So we are going to work out the mechanisms in the coming days of how we are going to pursue this jointly to ensure that we create a bulwark that may not be easily assailed by Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. So this platform we are coming up with is going to pursue those issues jointly to ensure that we get this country back into our hands. Get prepared on the day we are going to organize to take this document to Luzira for retired Colonel Dr. Chiza to sign. And my request is that we shouldn't be only the people on this side. Let's pay homage to Luzira. Let's visit them in big numbers. Even if you wait outside, but it should be a very big day when we go to Luzira for retired Colonel Dr. Chiza Besigye to execute, to append his signature on this very, very important document. Because he has participated in the processes of executing the same, even when he's under incarceration. And I would request again, please, let's fight for all the prisoners of conscience, the political prisoners of whatever color. Let us assemble a team to deal with the same so that we regain freedom for our people, our comrades who are languishing in various detention centers. There are those in Chitaria, there are those in Luzira, there are those in other various prisons and other detention centers, gazetted and ungazetted. So the struggle is ours. So please, whatever political prisoner, because scores are going to be arrested, scores are going to be imprisoned, men are going to be brutalized. let's rise to the occasion and come to that particular point where we defend all of them. For God and my country. I thank you.
I will do some introductions. And then the Honorable Karanga.
A member of Parliament to Rujombara County in Rukunjiri district.
God is good. Bam Kwasa Betty Mzanira, former district woman representative of Rukunjiri district. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. Aspiring member of parliament for Majin West.
You see, you can go and take your seat. You can understand this season.
Be here and very, very happy to see my family is back again. I'm here with these prominent people in our new organization, PFF. They will be unveiled on the 8th Tuesday, and you know what their position are. But we are a group of eminent persons within PFF. We are the cusp, and we are giving PFF the direction that it needs to go forward. I would like each person to introduce themselves, because I may mispronounce your names, but better yet, you do it.
My name is Wycliffe.
When I first heard discussion were taking place, I was fortunate enough to have met once a few weeks General Muntu. We had tea together, and then we talked about the possibility of something like this happening. And I'm glad to see the fruition of all these discussions that have taken place. And I'd like to thank those who participated in making it happen. I thank you so much. I look upon this as a great beginning. First and foremost, we don't have to do much work to know each other, because we already know each other very well. So the work at hand is to bring ourselves together and to bring the country together to make sure that we remove the junta once and for all. So that is the purpose of all of this, what we're doing. At the same time, I'd like to say, this doesn't deny others who are not with us today for joining us tomorrow. We welcome all of you, the forces of good change. We are welcome to be part of this anytime. So I welcome my brothers and my sisters from ANT. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for reaching this decision to once again to come and work together. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Karuhanga, the President and leader of the PFF, the Honorable Lord Mayor Elias Lukwago, and the entire leadership of the People's Front for Freedom, my colleague leaders of the Alliance for National Transformation, General Muntu, the interim leadership, and all of you in your distinguished capacities. It is indeed a great honor for me to be here, and I'm particularly happy that we have gathered for a very historic moment in the life of our political journey as a country. Friends, what we came to do here and what you came to witness is not just mere signing of papers. It is about our shared conviction It speaks to our hearts where we want to see this country going. Over years, and our history tells us, right from independence, nobody, no individual, no party, no group could go it alone. And so by coming here to express our shared conviction, we are simply sending a message out there. And we are saying to Uganda that the junction that we find ourselves in requires that we don't continue working and walking as fragmented entities, but that we bring our forces, our minds, our hearts together so that we walk this country out of the current mess and the dilemma that the Museveni regime has put it into. That is what we came to do here this morning. I want to send a message, and our message is in response, as has been alluded to here earlier, a message to Ugandans that we have been listening, that we are the people who will listen and act on the demand that you're putting on your leaders. But we've also come to send a message of hope to our young people who are wondering what the elders, what kind of country they will find after today. Because our young people, the ones Honorable Semiji talked about, they have no jobs, they have no homes, they have no education, they have nothing. And they are wondering, what do we do? What are leaders going to leave us with 10, 20 years from now? So this is a deliberate decision on our part that we will come, reconfigure the trajectory of this nation by working together and giving hope to a people who have almost become hopeless. And this therefore means that this call to action is not a closed room. We have created an open table. And on this table, we are inviting all like-minded Ugandans who believe that single-handedly they cannot respond to this challenge. So this cooperation that we've signed on to is not going to be a business between ANT and the PFF alone. It is just one building block. It is, as the Chinese say, a beginning of a journey of 1,000 miles, where you take the first step. This is only a first step. And so this platform is open to all political actors, civil society, individuals and groups who know that when they bring in that one brick, this foundation will become even more stronger. Martin Luther, who said that if we don't learn to walk together, then we will perish as fools. And I believe that we are not fools, and we are not going to perish as fools. You may recall years back, must have been after the 2021 general election, President Museveni said there would be no opposition in Uganda by 2026. Yes, 2021 general election. he said there would be no opposition in Uganda by 2026. We are here, and as an answer to that there will still be a credible opposition to the Museveni regime in the 2026 general election. Commitment to fielding candidates at all levels, jointly fielding candidates, exploring possibilities of working together is in response to that, because we must prove that we are credible, we are committed, and we love this country more than they do. If it wasn't for Uganda, friends, maybe we wouldn't sit in this room. If it wasn't for our children and our children's children, friends, maybe we would be doing something else. But because there is a future, because there is a country to salvage, we have advised ourselves to put aside our individual interests and come together as this group to champion a common cause. This is a new chapter in progress. A new chapter which will not be encumbered by our history. We've told ourselves history is history. It just teaches us how to live. This is a chapter of hope. So we may come from different paths, but we've decided to walk in the same direction, where we believe that we are stronger together. Believe that leadership with character and values is what Uganda is looking for. Because there are all manner of leaders out there, but leadership of character, leadership with values, leadership with integrity, leadership with a conviction is what this country is looking for. And I want to emphasize it is our moral responsibility to do what we are doing today. There is an African proverb that says that if you want to walk fast, you go it alone. If you want to walk fast, walk alone. But if you want to walk far, walk together. Say it again. That if you want to walk fast, walk alone. But if you want to go far, walk together. So I pray that this effort today will bear fruit. Colleagues, I will tell you that coming together is one step. We need to give it the energy. We need to give it the belief. We want to give it everything within our power to ensure that this bears fruits. And fruit it will bear. And as I said, we welcome all of you who are tired of the old ways of doing things and are ready for real change, because this represents a path in the right direction. This is about not who will speak louder, no. It is about who is willing to listen. This is about not who stands tallest. It's really about our willingness to step down from our positions and kneel and pick up even the smallest, even the lowest among ourselves and say, this we can do together. So let us not be remembered for divisions. Let us be remembered for the critical decision we are making at this junction of our political history, the decision to work together when it mattered most. Thank you very much. And I pray that everyone at different levels will become a champion of this political cooperation. I would like to do two things. So that I finish my bit of the assignment. There is a segment of the introductions that I want to do. Gerald will complete the rest. This political cooperation is going to be driven by a political team of 16 people called the Common Ground Council. The Common Ground Council. It is the CGC that will ensure that the aspirations of this MOU and even beyond will be realized. I like to introduce them and ask them, when I do, to step forward, and thereafter, when they have, so that you just know them, after that, we are privileged as part of our team to have a former presidential candidate. I'll ask General Muntu to say a word or two, and then the Honorable Karuhanga will complete the introduction of the ANT leadership, and then we will. And I want to be very sure that I read them very well, and that means I have to double the ice. So please, when I read your name, you come in front, because we would like you to be available so you can also take a photo. So from the Alliance for National Transformation, the 8 members of this team are the Honorable Angeline Asio Osege, the Honorable Dan Wandera Ogalo, Honorable Karuhanga Kafureka Gerald, Honorable Wadri Ezati Kasiano, Honorable Winnie Kiza, Ambassador Edith Grace Sempala, the Honorable Gen.Mugisha Muntu Oyera, and I will read the last person last. From the People's Front for Freedom, the team is led by the Honorable Lord Mayor Elias Lukwago, Mr. Wakando Ndawaicliffe, Honorable Wafula Ogutu, the Honorable Proscovia Salamo Musumba, Honorable Ibrahim Semujunganda, the Honorable Aol Betty Ochan, Honorable Harold Muhindo, and Honorable Ojok B. Leo. And the last person in that team is yours truly, Alaso Alice Ashanot.